Welcome to Grind Spirits Podcast, a place where we're learning how to stay rooted while flying high. I'm your host, Laura Lynn, and we are talking about the Emerald Tablets. We are done with the actual Emerald Tablets. Now we're looking at this supplementary tablet number 14, and it's titled Atlantis. So we already know that our author for the first 13 tablets is Thoth the Atlantean, and so he takes us through his whole journey of how he escaped Atlantis, his upbringing in Atlantis, and then how he acquired all this knowledge to become the king or the god, or however, like the enlightened person, however you want to put it, the Thoth that we know who gives us all of this advice. By the way, I did take his advice from tablet number 13, and I will say that I do feel different. I feel like there's like a new chapter going on in my life. I've been pretty open about like my darkness in the last few episodes, and everything has been a lot better because I did what Thoth told us to do at the end of tablet number 13. So here in tablet number 14, we're going to do what we always do, go line by line, but I'm thinking that we're going to get more info on Atlantis, so let's find out. Alright, so this tablet starts off with, "List ye, O man, to the deep hidden wisdom, lost to the world since the time of the dwellers, lost and forgotten by men of this age. Know ye this earth is but a portal, guarded by powers unknown to man. Yet the dark lords hide the entrance that leads to the heaven-born land. Know ye, the way to the sphere of Arulu is guarded by barriers opened only to light-born man." So we learned either in the last one or the one after, before that, that Earth is its own being, right? Like, in spirituality, I would call her Gaia. She's like the goddess of Earth, or she's the spirit of Earth. But what he's saying is that Earth is alive, and everything on it is alive, and we are a part of that aliveness since we are carbon beings, and all of our bodies come from this earth, and that's why when we die, we are returned back to the earth. That our bodies are just a shelter for our soul, so that it can learn how to become, how did Thoth put it, like the formless form. So we already knew that, but what he's saying is that people have forgotten this, and they have forgotten that they are this spiritual being just inhabiting this body for a short while. That people think that we are just this physical being, and then that's it. So that's what he's talking about here, that we need to know. So that's the whole point, is that by remembering who we are, and that's like what he was talking about in the last one. And then I really thought at the end of tablet 13, when he was saying you'll remember who you are, when I did it, I really thought I was going to remember like these past lives that I've had. But no, it was more of like a remembering of who I am, as far as like what my passion is, or what are the things that I enjoy doing, not so much of what my life was like in a past life. It was more about an uncovering of my true essence, or like my being, and what can I contribute to the world by doing something that I love, where it doesn't feel like work. So that's like what came up for me. And then, so just like a quick tangent, for me, it ended up being going to museums. Like, how random is that? Like, I have just been missing going to museums. And so I started doing it this week, and it has been magical. And I'm getting all these ideas, and like making these different connections, and it's just been just like really, like, I don't know how other way to put it, but it's just been like really magical. So this is like what Thoth is talking about with this last line, that it is that Arulu, which is like the heaven place, is guarded by barriers open only to light-born men. So what he's saying is, like, through the whole 13 tablets, he's been telling us, go towards the light, become the light, remember that you are the light, always go towards the light, you know. And this is why, because once you step into your role, into your light, then everything else is just going to click into place. And that is how that this Arulu gets opened, is by being the light. And you can only achieve the light by going through this darkness. I watched La La Land over the weekend, and it's the same thing. She gave it her all with the play, and when it didn't go the way that she had imagined, she was like, I'm done. Like, this is it, you know? Like, she had to go through this, like, dark period. She moved back home. But then she ended up finding her light. She ended up being able to star in her movie and everything. So you have to go through the darkness to find your light. Okay, next stanza, it goes, upon earth I am the holder of the keys to the gates of the sacred land. Command I, by the powers beyond me, to leave the keys to the world of man. Before I depart, I give ye the secrets of how ye may rise from the bondage of darkness. Cast off the fetters of the flesh that have bound ye. Rise from the darkness into the light. Exactly what I was just talking about. That, like, we have to be in this darkness to understand. If we didn't know what it was like to be bound or to cage or to be limited, then we wouldn't be able to understand what it means to be free and to appreciate that freedom. So that's what he's talking about here. And so he wants to leave us these keys, and that's why the tablets 1 through 13, so many, if not all, are the key to this, the key to that, the key to, you know, like, these are the keys that he's talking about. And by the way, secrets is capitalized. And in this next one, I'm going to read mysteries is the one that's capitalized. All right. Along with secrets, they're both capitalized. Okay. Know ye, the soul must be cleansed of its darkness, ere ye may enter the portal of light. Thus I establish among ye from... I messed up here because my mind started, like, wandering. So this cleanse of the darkness, I think that this is what happened, talking about La La Land with Mia, which is played by Emma Stone. She says, when she says, I'm done, like, I'm done, and she, like, moves back home, I felt that same, like, I just kept repeating, I'm done, when I had, like, that really dark episode that I talked about a while back. I just kept repeating that. And I think that by, like, you have to reach a point in your darkness where you just keep saying it, I'm done, so that you become cleansed of this darkness. You're not saying, when you're saying it, you think you're saying, I'm done, like, chasing this dream, but it's not that. You're saying that I'm done feeling caged and trapped in this darkness, and I'm done limiting myself, and I'm ready to step into the light. So that's what Thoth is saying here. All right, let me read it again. It says, know ye, the soul must be cleansed of its darkness, ere ye may enter the portal of light. Thus I establish among ye the mysteries, so that the secrets may always be found. I, though man may fall into darkness, always the light will shine as a guide. Hidden in darkness, veiled in symbols, always the way to the portal will be found. Man in the future will deny the mysteries, but always the way the seeker will find. So I think that's where we're at right now, where so many people are denying the mysteries of life. People don't believe in the supernatural. People don't believe in the spiritual. They don't believe in these things. But it's like, how can you not believe in these things? Like, even with your imagination, they had to come from somewhere. You really think that you can create something that doesn't exist? You know? Interesting. Now I'm like getting into my own philosophical thoughts, because is that a thing that only God can do? Create something that doesn't exist? But then when we have our ideas to bring into this physical world, are they our ideas, or are they God's ideas that we are just God's servant to bring into this world? That's interesting. Okay. Where am I? Now I command ye to maintain my secrets, giving only to those ye have tested, so that the pure may not be corrupted, so that the power of truth may prevail. So I went to the Norton Simon Museum, and they have an exhibit on Francisco de Goya. And I posted this. I should have posted it on here now that I'm thinking. Maybe I will. But I posted it on my other account called Publish. Publish is an account where I just post art and different types of art. And then I try out the things that I post. And it's a really fun spot. If you want to go check that out, it's PUBL_.ISH. I was gonna go into the whole reason of why it's like that, but if you go to it, you'll see it on there. But my point is that De Goya, he did this whole series about truth, and he made it like this woman with her breasts, with her bare breasts, or with her boobs out, and so it's like, truth is dead. Can truth be revived? Truth is alive. And it's like this little series that he has about this woman, but he has this light emanating off of her, and that she's the truth. And so it just reminds me of this whole this picture that Thoth is painting for us here, that in the darkness, only those who are determined to go into the light will find these mysteries, or will understand these symbols or these secrets to be able to get out of the darkness. If you're in the darkness and you're not trying to get out, you're just going to be stuck there. I think so many people are there because so many people are resistant to change. And if you don't actively change or seek change, then change will find you, and it won't be pretty. So I found this great quote. Actually, let me pull it up because it was that good. Somebody posted this on an Instagram, and it says, oh man, right when I thought I had it. Here it is. Okay. It says, growth for the sake of growth is the ideology of the cancer cell. And this was said by Edward Abbey. And it's true that if we're just changing for the sake of change, then what's the point? So the whole point is that we as humans, we need to grow. And when we stop growing on the outside, then something has to grow on the inside, and what grows on the inside is cancer. So that's really what it comes down to, that we just have to constantly seek out change. I guess not constantly. I need to take that back, because I think it's all about a balance too. Because exactly what it said. Growth for the sake of growth is just like a cancer cell. You can't be sporadic in that sense. It should be like a small, steady climb in change and stepping out of your comfort zone. You can't go from A to Z. You have to go A, B, C, D, go through the alphabet. And by taking those little steps, and that's how we can do that. Which actually brings me to a conversation that I had with my husband recently, who's also my best friend. So we always just chat about these cool things. And I was telling him, I'm tired of taking these baby steps. I just want to jump into our future. I want to jump into our dreams. I'm tired of living like this. And then he said that, like, this is part of the journey, though. Why would I want to skip LMNOP, for instance? Like, it's important to, I was going to say admire, but I don't think that's the right word. But it's important to sit with, maybe, or to understand, or to appreciate, maybe. To appreciate every step that we have to take, even if they are small steps. Because every step that we do take, it's like a staircase into our future so that we can handle it. It's like we're building the foundation, or like now, like we're building up the walls or whatever, and like now there's gonna be drywall soon, and then at the end is when we like move the furniture in. Like, this is like a metaphor, obviously, but I really like that he said that we do have to take these small steps, even though it is exhausting and I become very impatient. But it is part of the journey, and so I have to appreciate that. Okay, moving right along. This is the last stanza on page 80, and as a reminder, if you want to follow along with me, go ahead and send me a DM, write Emerald Tablets, or send me an email at groundedspirits@gmail.com. And my Instagram is just Grounded Spirits. Okay. List ye now to the unveiling of mystery. List to the symbols of mystery I give. Make of it a religion, for only thus will its essence remain. It's interesting that he says make of it a religion, because I don't necessarily believe, or maybe it's just that we have a bad taste in our mouth because of how religion has been. What if it could be a good thing if everybody was holy, or if everyone's trying just to, because historically the church has just wanted power instead of genuinely trying to help people. And I'm not saying that like every pastor is like that, or priest is like that, but just like historically it's been like that. So maybe what he's saying here is that like the religion could be like a group of people coming together and trying to understand this stuff. So what I'm thinking of is are the Cambridge Platonists. I hope I'm saying that right. But it's like Henry Moore and Conway and a bunch of other people. And what they did is they just like got together and like read this text and just tried to understand it and apply it to their lives. Okay, at the top of 81, it says, regions there are two between this life and the great one, traveled by the souls who depart from this earth. Duat, the home of the power of illusion. Sekhet, Hetsept, the house of the gods. Osiris, the symbol of the guard of thy portal, who turns back the souls of unworthy men. Beyond lies the sphere of the heaven-born powers. Arulu, the land where the great ones have passed. There, when my work among men has been finished, will I join the great ones of my ancient home. 7 are the mansions of this house of the mighty. 3 guards the portal of each house from the darkness. 15 the ways that lead to Duat. 12 are the houses of the lords of illusion, facing 4 ways, each of them different. 42 are the great powers. That's weird, because don't they say that the existence of life or whatever, or like the meaning of life is 42? What movie is that? I forgot, but that's weird, no? Like, why is 42 coming up in here? Okay, 42 are the great powers, judging the dead who seek for the portal. 4 are the sons of Horus. 2 are the guards of east and west of Isis. The woman who pleads for her children, queen of the moon, reflecting the sun. So a lot of people, for instance, Isaac Newton and a lot of other people have read this text and tried to decipher it, like, what do these numbers mean? Put numerology into it, trying to find like the sorcerer's stone. The alchemists would do this too, to change lead into gold. But I don't really know a lot about that kind of stuff, but I just wanted to put it out there that, like, this is the section that a lot of them have pulled from. Okay, moving on, it says, Ba is the essence, living forever. Ka is the shadow that man knows as life. Ba cometh not until Ka is incarnate. These are mysteries to preserve through the ages. Mystery in mystery, yet clear to the light born. The secret of all I know will reveal. I will declare a secret to the initiated, but let the door be wholly shut against the profane. 3 is the mystery, come from the Great One. Hear and light on thee will dawn. In the medieval dwell 3 unities. Other than these, none can exist. These are the equilibrium source of creation, one God, one truth, and one point of freedom. So that's interesting, because what I was thinking about when he said dwell 3 unities, I was thinking the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And when we first started this series, or maybe even before, I was talking about how God became God because he separated himself from the Holy Spirit, because the Holy Spirit is all of everything, is that chaos, is that darkness, and then God came, separated himself from her, and then said, let there be light, and so there was. And then together they created Jesus. But the way that Thoth puts this is that, okay, so one God, so obviously God is God. And then one point of freedom, so obviously that's the Holy Spirit. The Spirit is known for this freedom. Their sense of freedom. And so the one truth would be man, or Jesus. So that's interesting, because Jesus has a famous quote that the truth will set you free. So is it by doing what we're doing here in Grounded Spirits, by combining these 2 attributes, that's how we achieve freedom and that's how we can become whole? I think so. That's the whole point of this podcast, right? So God would be like this grounded self, the knowing who I am, my values, and knowing that how they differentiate from others. Whereas the point of freedom, the Spirit, is what makes us feel free, what gives us that excitement of life. And then when we bring those 2 together, then that's how we find the truth of our existence. That's how we know who we are. And I put this on my Instagram story the other day, talking about how I always thought, like, you have to be grounded, you have to know who you are so that you can fly high. But it's actually the opposite too. You have to fly high in order to know who you are, in order to be grounded. Because if you don't fly high, then how will you know what you like or what you don't like? How will you know what your values are if you don't go out and experiment, right? Okay. Actually, really quick, even like people are talking about like trial and error, like that's such a poor way of finding things out, but isn't that what God's doing? By creating all of us as individuals, we're all getting a different perspective of him. So like God's doing this trial and error thing too, of trying to understand all of this different ways of life. Okay, Three come forth from the three of the balance. All life, all good, all power. Three are the qualities of God in his light home. Infinite power, infinite wisdom, and infinite love. Again, I feel like that these three are the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. So all life is the Holy Spirit. All good is the Son. Actually, I think that might be God. So all power is the Son, which makes sense because we are put on here to learn how to become empowered. And so infinite power would be the human, or like the man, the Son. Infinite wisdom would be God. And then infinite love would be the Holy Spirit. Three are the powers given to the masters to transmute evil, assist good, use discrimination. Three are the things inevitable for God to perform: manifest power, wisdom, and love. Three are the powers creating all things: divine love possessed the perfect knowledge, divine wisdom knowing all possible means, divine power possessed the joint of will of divine love and wisdom. So what he's saying is that how do you gain power? You have to learn, which is why people say knowledge is power, but then you also have to love. And you can't differentiate them. You need them both. You need love and you need power and you need wisdom. If you have all this knowledge but you don't have any love towards it, it's just going to go in one ear at the other. If you have all this love but don't have any wisdom, you're not going to have any boundaries. And people are just going to stomp all over you till you have nothing left to give. You will need them both. And that is how you gain power. Interestingly, I came to the same conclusion when I was looking at Taylor Swift's work that we went over here on the podcast, the Torture Poets department. But I also included some of her other stuff. And then Gabrielle Souchon, who was a female philosopher in France in the 1700s. Well, actually, she published this book in 1693. So really in the 1600s. But yeah, Taylor came at things of always wanting to love, and then Souchon only came at things of just wanting to know, just wanting that knowledge. And they were both seeking freedom, and they both, in the paper, it's kind of cool the way that I wrote it, that I said paper, it's a book. You can pre-order it now on Amazon. It's called Freedom, Love, and Knowledge. And yeah, so they, in my paper, like, they kind of talk to each other. And it's so crazy because, like, something that Taylor says, Souchon either agrees with it or disagrees with it, but of the same point. So it's just really interesting to be able to pick out these points of their work and have them be in conversation with each other. But the thing is that they both came up with this solution. Gabrielle Souchon, she found love she created a community called the Neutralist community, where instead of going into the convent or being married, she created this community of women where they could be friends and just love each other. Where that means, like, love each other like lesbians in a lesbian way, or like love each other as like a friend kind of love. But she found love in that sense. Whereas Taylor, I think that, especially in this last album, the Torture Poets department, she has really had to learn this knowledge and transform it into wisdom, and she did it through poetry. So she actually referenced a lot of different poets that I talk about in the book. So it was really interesting that she did hit the books. You know, it's very evident that she spent the last 4 years reading while we were in COVID, enough to be able to reference these different poets anyway. But so that's really interesting that now here it is coming up again, that in order to have power, and by power, that means to give yourself the freedom that you require, to having the power to make your own decisions, having the power to do what you want to do when you want to do it. It can only be possessed by the joint will of the divine love and wisdom. Gotta highlight that. So, next stanza says, 3 are the circles, or states, it's in parentheses, of existence. The circle of light, where dwells nothing but God, and only God can traverse it. The circle of chaos, where all things by nature arise from death. The circle of awareness, where all things spring from life. So once again, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So the first one is the light. So like I said, God separated himself from the Holy Spirit, said, let there be light, and so there was, because he realized that he had this power. So the circle of light, where nothing dwells but God, and only God can traverse it because he created it, so it's only for him. Just like with you, like the only thing the light that you create, only you can create it. That's the beauty of it, is that we each have, like Thoth said it the other day, one of the last few tablets, he said that you have your place in the cosmos, and only you can fulfill that place in the cosmos. And so if you are not being authentic, if you're not being you, then we have a spot missing. That's why he's saying only God can traverse it. The next one is the circle of chaos, which I had just said is the Holy Spirit, so that was cool. The circle of chaos, where all things by nature arise from death, and of course they do. Like I was saying earlier, our bodies, they will return to the earth one day. It's inevitable. And from our bodies, something will grow. No matter what, something will grow from our dead bodies. And so my dream is to be turned into a tree. You can do this thing where you become, like they mix you, like they put your body into like the fetal position, and they put a bunch of seeds in your belly, and then a tree comes out of you, and it uses you as its nutrients to grow the tree. Isn't that so beautiful? So yeah, that's that. And then the circle of awareness, where all things spring from life, that's the sun, that's us, that's the human part, where once we have this awareness of who we are, then we can bring things into the 3D realm. All things animate are of 3 states of existence: chaos or death, liberty and humanity, and felicity of heaven. So what it's saying is that every living being is governed by these things. So we either have chaos or death. So either things feel chaotic, or we're encountering this death. And by death, that doesn't necessarily mean like physical death. It could just be like an ego death, or a death, like a tower moment kind of death, where it's like everything's changing. So it feels chaotic, but the chaos, it's either feeling chaotic or something's ending, because even when there are like new beginnings, it's going to feel chaotic because new things are changing or growing, and yeah, it feels chaotic. Then it's liberty and humanity. So this is like what we are constantly striving for, is to be able to have this power to be able to do the things that we want to do, and to have this sense of liberty. And then felicity of heaven is that ultimate fulfillment. It's like the end goal. But the trick is that there's always a felicity of heaven if we can accept it. So you can always find happiness no matter the situation that you're in. So again, it's that Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. So, but this time, before I had said that chaos and death is the Holy Spirit part, But actually, in this sense, no, it still is. My bad. Yeah. So the Holy Spirit is the all. So it is constantly allowing us to grow and to change. And it does feel chaotic and it is dark, but in a good way. And then the Son, so it's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So then the Son is the liberty and humanity. So the Son is always teaching us how to balance our spiritness with our humanness, our divine selves with our human self, which is the essence of grounded spirits, right? Groundedness is the I lost my train of thought. I was trying to figure out what I had just said. With the humanness and the divine self, that's what I was trying to say. So the groundedness is along with the humanness, since we are from the ground, from the earth. And then the flying high bit, or like the spirit bit, is the divine self. And so we're figuring out how to balance the two in conjunction with everybody else. And then we have the felicity of heaven, which is God, which is the light, which is the ultimate fulfillment that we are constantly striving for. I believe it was Mary Astle, who was also a 16th or 17th century, no, I'm pretty sure it was 16th, philosopher. And she said that we are striving for this perfection of the will. We can only achieve this perfection of the will through understanding. So through knowledge can we achieve this perfection of the will, because God gave us free will. And so if we perfect it, then we become godlike, and then that is how we find ultimate fulfillment. Next is 3 necessities control all things, beginning of the great deep, the circle of chaos, and plenitude in heaven. So it's along the same lines. So the beginning of the great deep, typically we would say that is like from God, like the Big Bang and stuff, but actually before God, it was the Holy Spirit. God had to separate himself from the Holy Spirit in order to create us. But before that, it was just her by herself. Makes me think of the creation story from Native Americans of Sky Woman, and how Sky Woman fell from a different dimension and she landed here, and she worked with the animals and helped her create, and she was pregnant, and so from there everything grew. But yeah, we are controlled by the beginning of the great deep, because it's all around us now, especially in the darkness. And that's why we have to learn how to create our own lives and to have that kind of awareness, because we are just stuck in this great deep darkness unless we do it. Next is the circle of chaos. So if we're going in order of the last one, this would be the sun. So there's always going to be chaos when we're trying to balance. That's the whole point of balancing. If we were able just to balance it easily, there wouldn't be this show, or there wouldn't be everything in humanity, right? The whole point is that something happens and we need to go back to balance. Balancing the grounded with the spirit, or the human with the divine, or the staying rooted with the flying high. It's always about the balance. And so that's the part about being human. And the plenitude in heaven, again, it's with that ultimate fulfillment, that abundance. That's all God. 3 are the paths to the soul: man, liberty, light. So first you're a man or a woman. Then you are striving for liberty, starting with the inner freedom and then allowing it to spill over into the outer. And then that's how we achieve our light, and that's how we leave darkness. 3 are the hindrances: lack of endeavor to obtain knowledge, non-attachment to God, attachment to evil, In man, and by evil, I think he's saying like with fear. Like if you don't have trust, you have fear. So you can't let the fear bring you down, because that means that you're attaching yourself to evil. In man, the three are manifest. Three are the kings of power within. Three are the chambers of the mysteries, found yet not found in the body of man. Hear ye now of he who is liberated, freed from the bondage of life into light. So he's saying, me, Thoth, I am liberated. Knowing the source of all worlds shall be open. I, even the gates of Arulu, shall not be barred. Yet heed, O man, who wouldst enter heaven. If ye be not worthy, better it be to fall into the fire. Know ye the celestial path, pass through the pure flame. At every revolution of the heavens, they bathe in the fountains of light. So what it's making me think about here is that he's saying that if you're not worthy, it's better to fall into the fire so you can become worthy. So that makes me think about like the phoenix. Like it goes into the fire and it burns up, but then it becomes renewed. But then from there, I was thinking about like the witches and like the witch hunts and how they were burned at the stake. So what does that do to someone as far as like on their spiritual like soul journey? Do they become more pure, or is it this change of lack of trust of society? I don't know why, but in my book, the main character, who's really just me, I hope you've read the book, so I'm not ruining anything. If not, then like fast forward like a couple of minutes. The book is Monterey, Passage Through Water. But anyway, so she gets burned at the stake. And even when I was writing it, it felt very real and it felt very scary. And I don't know if it was like a past life thing or what, but being burned at the stake, it, like I was scared writing it, but Raina, the character in the book, she wasn't afraid, because Liam told her like, let's run away, let's go somewhere. And she was like, no, like, I need to do this. So, like, I'm trying to figure out, like, what this whole thing means, that if you're not worthy to go into heaven, maybe it's a thing of, like, you do it to yourself, because everything's a mirror. So, if you don't feel worthy yourself, then being burned at the stake is going to eliminate those worries, or it'll give you, like, it'll prove it to yourself that you are worthy. I don't know. That's just what's been coming just off the top of my head. Okay, moving on. List ye, O man, to this mystery. Long in the past, before ye were man born, I dwelled in ancient Atlantis. There in the temple I drank of the wisdom, poured as a fountain of light from the dweller. Give the key to ascend to the presence of light in the great world. Stood I before the Holy One, enthroned in the flower of fire. Veiled was he by the lightnings of darkness, else my soul by the glory have been shattered. Forth from the feet of his throne, like the diamond, rolled forth 4 rivers of flame from his footstool. Rolled through the channels of clouds to the man world, filled with the halls of spirits of heaven. Wonders of wonders was the starry palace. Above the sky, like a rainbow of fire and sunlight, were formed the spirits. Sang they the glories of the Holy One. Then from the midst of the fire came a voice. Behold the glory of the first cause. I beheld that light high above all darkness, reflected in my own being. I attained, as it were, to the gods of all gods, the Spirit Son, the sovereign of the sun spheres. There is one, even the first, who hath no beginning, who hath no end, who hath made all things, who govern all, who is good, who is just, who illuminates, who sustains. I'm going to pause there, even though I feel like we're on a good one, but I'm going to pause there to actually go over everything that we just read to understand it a little better. So he's literally just talking about his first encounter with actual God. I think that I've never had this kind of encounter, but I have felt God, especially when I was writing my book Monterey. I really felt it was more of the Holy Spirit. I felt the Holy Spirit guiding me to write, and I was channeling her words. But to have this kind of experience, this is what Thoth is talking about with actual God. I think a lot of people say when they found Jesus, I think it's this kind of thing. But that's why he's saying he went to the very first one, the God of all gods, that there is one who has no beginning. So he was just describing all of that and his journey in meeting him. Then from the throne there poured a great radiance, surrounding and lifting my soul by its power. Swiftly I moved through the spaces of heaven. Shown was I the mystery of mysteries, shown the secret heart of the cosmos. Carried was I to the land of Arulu, stood before the lords in their houses. Opened they the doorway so I might glimpse the primeval chaos. Shuddered my soul to the vision of horror, shrank back my soul from the ocean of darkness. Then saw I the need for the barriers, saw the need for the lords of Arulu. Only they, with their infinite balance, could stand in the way of the inpouring chaos. Only they could guard God's creation. So what he's saying is, it's kind of you want to see the truth, but you're not ready for the truth. It's that kind of thing where the truth can be scary if you're not ready for it. So I think that's the whole point, what I was saying earlier about taking the steps, because if you jump from A to Z, you might not be ready for Z, or the truth that Z step has in store for you. But if you go little by little, you're building up this confidence, you're building up these barriers he's talking about here, so that you will be ready for it. So he was saying when he first glimpsed, he wasn't ready, when he was living back at Atlantis. Then did I pass round the circle of 8, saw all the souls who had conquered the darkness, saw the splendor of light where they dwelled. So I think he's asking, did I die? Am I dead? Longed I to take the place in their circle, but longed I also for the way I had chosen, when I stood in the halls of Amenti and made my choice to the work I would do. So this is from talent number 3, where he says that he decided to be a teacher and come back to Earth and to teach the early Egyptians. Passed I from the halls of Arulu down to the earth space where my body lay. So he was just astral projecting this whole time. Arose I from the earth where I rested, stood I before the dweller, gave my pledge to renounce my great right until my work on earth was completed, until the age of darkness be past. So the way that stanza is broken up, it's great with a capital G, and then it says right in the next one, but I think he's actually trying to say great right, his right. He had to renounce his right of being able to astral project and being able to encounter God, to be able to work here on earth. And then not until he completed it, which is what he was doing with these tablets, will he be able to have this great right again. List ye, O man, to the words I shall give ye. In them shall ye find the essence of life. Before I return to the halls of Amenti, taught shall ye be the secrets of secrets. how ye too may arise to the light. So again, he's just sharing like how to get to where he's at. It kind of reminds me of like those coaches like on Instagram where they're like, oh, like you're trying to be like me, so like let me like pay me all this money and I'll show you how to get to my level. That's kind of like the vibe I'm getting from Thoth here, but Thoth isn't charging us. Preserve them and guard them, hide them in symbols, so the profane will laugh and renounce. In every land form ye the mysteries, make the way hard for the seeker to tread. So he's saying that this just can't be for anybody, because if you're not ready for it, it will like seriously scar you. So that's why he's like making it hard for the seeker, because that is how you're going to build up this confidence, this stamina, this empowerment to be able to withstand this great truth. Thus will the weak and wavering be rejected. Thus will the secrets be hidden and guarded, held till the time when this wheel shall be turned. Through the dark ages, waiting and watching, my spirit shall remain in the deep hidden land. When one has passed all the trials of the outer, summon ye me by the key that ye hold. Then will I, the initiator, answer, come from the halls of the god in Amenti. Then will I receive the initiate, give him the words of power. Hark ye, remember these words of warning. Bring not to me one lacking in wisdom, impure in heart, or weak in his purpose. Else I will withdraw from ye your power to summon me from the place of my sleeping. So basically he's saying, like, don't wake me up, don't call me until you're actually ready. Hark ye, remember these words of warning. Bring not to me one lacking in wisdom. Oh, okay, I'm like, didn't I just read this? He says it twice, so that's why he's like, you better know. Like, don't come to me until you are actually ready. Now go ye forth and summon thy brothers, so that I may impart the wisdom to light thy path when my presence is gone. Come to the chambers beneath my temple. Eat not food until 3 days are past. There will I give thee the essence of wisdom, so that with power ye may shine amongst men. There will I give unto thee the secrets, so that ye too may rise to the heavens. God-men in truth, as in essence ye be, depart now and leave me while I summon those ye know of, but as yet know not. Whew. So yeah, he's like, I'll be there ready to like initiate you, show you all the ropes, but just know that you have to be pure in heart. You have to be ready and willing to do the hard work, and that you've actually put time in learning and learning about yourself. So yeah, that is tablet number 14, titled Atlantis. And that's all I have for you today. So I will see you next time for the actual last tablet, number 15. Let's see what it's titled. And then after that, we're going to start a new series. So this one is called Secret of Secrets, tablet number 15. So he talked a lot about the Secret of Secrets in tablet 14, so it'll be interesting to see. But the thing that I don't get is that they read just like the other tablets. Because normally supplementary means like he's going like more in depth or like on something that's past. But it just seems like its own tablet. And I don't know why it was called Atlantis other than that one part of him meeting God in Atlantis. So I don't know. But yeah, next week is our last week with Emerald Tablets, and then we shall move on. So thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye, everybody.